Finally, I can do the review for my M Power CRB7 router base accessory.
I'm Rick.
Shut the heck up, you stinking roosters. For your sanity.
This is the shack.
Hey everybody, welcome. If you're new to the channel the first time stopping by, thank you so much for taking some of your time out to view. I always ask that you consider subscribing, and if you do, ring the ding, ring that bell down there so you're notified when the videos do come out. Today we're going to go over my M Power CRB7 router base accessory for my router. I bought it and I thought it would fit my Milwaukee. When I got it, yeah, I started the review and it didn't work. Come to find out, on this one, on the bottom here, this is where you actually access the screw in there that you can tighten down, that tightens down the rod. There wasn't enough space here, wide enough, reach in with the, I think it's the torque tip on that, to tighten the screw down. I was very tempted to drill this out and put the wing bolts on top to tighten on the rod. With that idea out the window, I remembered I had an old Makita in my storage unit behind the shop, and I wasn't sure if maybe the motor had burned out and what happened, so I said, well, I'm going to take a chance. Look up in here, I'll have links to different things that I've done for this to get it prepped and ready. The last issue on this was there was only one wing bolt. I needed 2 more wing bolts. Couldn't find those anywhere, so I ended up making my own, meaning these are set screws. I got the wing nuts, screwed it on there, JB welded that to the depth, made sure that the threaded area was the same length as the original one that I had on here. JB welded them, ordered the compression springs through Makita. So now I have enough wing bolts to hold the rod so I can finally do this review and go through this router base accessory. Man, I tell you what. With no more delay, let's put these aside and let's get into the nitty-gritty of this router base. The M Power CRB7 router base accessory comes with 6 rods, and they are small, medium, and large. The large fit the Makita base. Actually, the medium fit the Milwaukee base. There is no real definitive way to mount this onto your router, meaning it doesn't matter if it's inside, outside, with, you know, however you want to do it. But because this is stationary, it does not slide back and forth. If I was to flip this in, it's too close to this edge and it would push the center of my base off too far. And if you were to move it to the third hole, that rod would actually be going across here, it wouldn't work. So I have to flip it out this way. So I will put that on in that hole there. Now I will determine whether I want this one to be flipped this way, and that will go in there, or if I want it out this way and bring that in a little further and it'll be in there. I think I'm going to use it that way. I mean, it's personal preference. I don't know if it makes a difference or not. It's just the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to leave it right there and I'm going to slide this on. Make sure all the wing bolts are loose enough for the rod to slide through. Now as I slide this on, this won't move. Now make sure this is pretty much centered on here. It looks pretty good. I'll take my 13 mil. That looks pretty good right there, so I'm going to tighten that up. Now I'll tighten these down. That looks pretty good there. I'll snug this one up. And I'll tighten this on this one. And that's pretty sturdy. As you see, my router is pretty centered on the base now. That's where we want it. And if you look, that's pretty snug. It's not moving. Now that I have my router mounted to the CRB7 router base, I want to go over some of the additional items that came with this router base and kind of explain what they are and try to demo some of them. So this is your offset handle. Put it in the base. It gives you another handle to grab onto while doing a routing project. This is the anti-tilt leg. I will show you something about that a little bit later in the demonstration. These are the mortising pillars. This is the compass pivot hub. Basically use this to make circles, which I will demonstrate. These two bars are your lock bars. You use these to tighten up the bars. If you lose one, don't fret. Basically, I use a small Phillips screwdriver, and this little brass thing is your pivot pin. It also comes with the mountable tape measure. You can peel this off, put it on the base. Unfortunately, I really have no room for this put on, so I really don't need it. But it is available if you wish to use it. I didn't mention it earlier, but it also comes with a bunch more screws and a couple washers. I just happen to have an extra Craig screw case. That's how I keep all of these items together and do not lose them. This is just another additional handle to grab onto. If you're going around an edge, it maybe give you a little extra stability. If you're putting a couple extensions together, you use the lock bars, put one here, put one in here, and use that to tighten it. Now, if you lose them, if something happens, don't worry about it, because basically I have this small Phillips screwdriver that actually fits in there, and that's what I use when I tighten these up. I'll use two of them and I can really snug it pretty good, and that's how I do it. So if you lose these, you can use a Phillips screwdriver, a small one, and you can get the same result. Now this little pivot pin in the base here, it's magnetic, and that will actually stay right there and hold it. What you use this for, this is like the compass, you use it to make circles. For small circles, you put this in the base. On the top of the base, you have multiple areas here that are countersunk for additional accessories, or using these things. I'll push that in. You see it comes through the bottom right here. You screw this in there. I believe it's 1/4 inch. I'll have to double check. It looks smaller than that. Drill a little hole. You set that in the hole and you can make small circles that way. As I'm going to demonstrate to make a larger circle with this compass pivot hub, I have me a piece of milling. It is 23 3/4. For the larger circles, they suggest that you just screw this directly in, but not tight enough where this cannot pivot. So I'm going to get a small, I think 1/64 drill, just so I can break through the milling. I'm going to drill me a little hole here. I can screw this to the milling. I'm going to get my hand screw. I'm going to tighten that just a hair more, but that's what you want to be able to spin around. And I'm going to tighten that up just a little bit so it still turns. There it goes. It's not loose. That pivots exactly where I went right there. That's good. Now I got to get the rods on here. I'm only going to have to need one extension. And again, you're going to use these little bars provided. I'm just going to snug that on there. I'm going to slide this in there. Now I'm just going to get this to the edge where I want it. Now spin around. It's a little bit off there, so I got to bring it in a little bit. That's where the micro adjustment will come in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to loosen up my bolt for my micro adjusting. Now I'm going to bring this out just a little bit. See, that's getting down. So I'm going to put it right there. Right there. Should be good right there. A little bit more. So that works. Make sure. Yeah, that's good right there. It's barely touched the edge. So that's good right there. I'm going to tighten that down. That looks good there. Let's continue to bring that around to this side. Perfect. this edge. Perfect. Okay, I'm actually ready to go. So, eyes and ears. I'm gonna make sure I have this depth set. Well, let's try it out. That looks pretty good. So far, I like it. Now I just got to do my depth adjustment and go down a little further. I apologize, the camera battery went dead. As you see, I went around and that's my final product. I got a nice circle. This is going to be a good size table for a couple of chairs and outside furniture. But I got another project over there I'm going to try with this, so we'll see. But it works. That is a nice attachment. I can make circles now, but I do have to get a smaller bit. That's the only bit I had right now. A little bit too big to be cutting this. You want a smaller bit, but it works. I'm very impressed with that. I like that. Now I'm going to show you something about this. This is your anti-tilt. You can mount it on here, but it goes in place of where the ball goes, or your little handle grip here. From the bottom it slides in. And it comes out the same hole that you put this into, and again you tighten that up. So let's say you're just doing something on something small and you got a tendency to rock. If you put this in the bottom, but you have to have a flat surface that your project's setting on, you tighten that up. Now it's not going to tilt, it's going to stay right there, because that's going to keep you from tilting like I do the other way, so you can keep pressure on this side and do what you need to be done without the worry of this tipping. This may only be this long, but I was checking this out. These rods actually fit in here, so if you need a longer extension, you got these rods. And it doesn't matter, because even the large rods that I have on the base now mounted in my Makita router will still fit in this hole. So you can actually slide this in here. Now you got that much of a pivot if you need it. That will help you in some instances. I don't think they say anything about that in the instructions. I think it's mainly for just this little piece here, but you can unscrew that and mount that on it and have a very long extension if you need it. I'm just saying. But I like this. It comes apart and I can put it in my storage box here and I can keep it together without losing it. Now the only other thing left is the mortise and pillars. Now the mortise and pillars we mount on either side, not lengthwise, widthwise. So for me, because I have such a large base on this router, I actually have to take the router off this to mount the mortise and pillars here. So I unloosen my wing nuts, lift the base router up, and I just slide this base right off. Put my router aside for the moment. So I'll put this here. This is the correct mounting for the pillars. I wasn't even paying attention, put them here and here, it's incorrect. This is the correct way. So now I will slide my router back on. Grab the bottom of this. Slide this back on. Tighten my wing nuts back down. And I'm ready to go. Now when I set this on there, I rotate this and it centers itself right on the piece of wood. If I was going to make a mortising, let's just say this is what I was going to be doing. This is 3/4 inch, the bit is 3/4 inch. So you set this on here like this, you spin it, it will center itself. Now I'm going to lower the router down until it's almost touching. I'm going to stop it there and lock it. See that the blade is way past the line here, so what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to adjust that and bring it over. Now how we do that is we loosen the wing bolts on the rod that is stationary, unloosen the nut on the micro adjustment rod, and now I'm going to start the adjustment to slide this closer, bringing it this way. Gotta bring a little bit more yet. And that should be good right there. If I was going to do my cut, that's exactly where I want it to start. Now with it adjusted properly, I'm going to retighten the wing nuts on the stationary bar so it doesn't move. Take my 13 mil and tighten the nut on my micro adjustment rod so it will not move. I can just keep it right there, slide it up and down. Set my depth, do it again, and that's how you set this up to do mortisings. There it is. That's everything that came with it. Came with this base, everything you're going to need to mount it to your router. Again, make sure that your router has wing bolts on the top so it can tighten down the rods. Of course, it has the instruction manual, and you know me, I'm a big advocate. Read through this, familiarize yourself with it before you do anything, so you don't do something wrong, damage it, break it, or even possibly damaging your tool. Multifunction, there's a lot of possibilities with this, plus the fact that you can buy extra accessories for this that's going to even broaden that ability of this router base. This is definitely 5-star. It's getting me energized to do something that I haven't done, and that is mortising joinery. Because I have this ability now, that may just give me that extra motivation. I'm going to need a little kick in the butt or slap in the head, wake me up, and I can try some mortising joinery now. So that's a good thing. It's always good to get something that's going to push you in another direction, make you try something you may not have tried in a long time or even try it at all. And I've never done mortising joinery, so that's going to be a big plus for me somewhere down the line on a project. You see my circle came out great. I can't wait. This is going to be for my outdoor project, and look up in the corner or in the description below. When I do use this for something, I will link it to that so you can check that out. Always step out of your comfort zone. Try something, because you never know. You may fail a few times, but hey, failure leads to success. Believe me, I got Mount Fuji full of failures. I got a molehill mountain here of successes, and that's what matters. At least I've tried. These successes are sweet when they happen. Just like when I was working on this. I wasn't sure about it. I was able to do something. I was excited, jazzed, and I did a success, and that was yay. Real big time yay. If you want to check out any of the work I did to this, get it prepped ready, look in the description below. I'll have links to everything I did to this, get it ready for the base. 5 stars, it works. I'm happy I got a router dedicated to it, so that's a huge plus. Thank you so much for watching. Be blessed. Get out there, take back your shack. Build it! For your sanity. One day someone's going to come over, what the hell are you yelling at? We'll see you in the next video.